This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com with my weekly review of the points I find interesting in Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter. And there's a lot of news this week. But if you live in the Ottawa area, make sure tomorrow night, May the 6th, you come down to the Earl Armstrong Arena to catch Great North Wrestling. James Storm, Kevin Sullivan, Wes Briscoe, Jeremy Prophet, Jessica Black, the Blood Hunter. It's going to be great. Not to mention Ben Hammond and the Greek God from Vince Russo's brand. But let me jump into the news. WWE had their draft this past week, and Paul Heyman said that Roman Reigns would not be able to challenge for the new third world title they're creating. But he did note that Roman Reigns already has 2 world titles. So he's established that the new one is going to be a third one. Why they want a third world title is because Saudi Arabia wants to have a end of a tournament where a world champion is crowned. Does it have any value when Roman Reigns has held these other titles for years? I don't think so. It just seems like it's like a fourth place ribbon to me. It's like meaningless. But it's a gimmick, and just like the draft is a gimmick, they never seem to keep to the drafts, but the drafts did put ratings up. Apparently, by the way, the 3 people that are in the running to get this new world title are Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre. Cody Rhodes is probably the best guy to put it on, in my estimation. But again, I still don't understand how you can have 3 world titles. It just waters it down. But they are making huge revenue, so they know better than me. Apparently, in the WWE media call this past week, it was noted that even though they're making more revenue than ever, they're going to be cutting between 50 and 100 million in expenses. Some of those are likely going to be job cuts. In this same call, and I find this interesting, Tony Khan noted that the current writers' strike will not affect the professional wrestling writers, as they are not part of the Writers Guild. So not only are wrestlers not part of the Actors Union, but writers are not part of the Writers Guild in wrestling. I don't understand how that's possible. I really don't. That's one thing that I don't understand, how they can get away with that, even though it's like a totally scripted show. But I don't know. I would like the explanation of how they can do that. Apparently, the shareholders' lawsuit against Vince McMahon and the WWE has been dropped because basically the case has become moot, which means there's no longer any reason for the proceedings because WWE stock is higher than ever. Gable Stevenson, who was expected to become a main roster member last year, but hasn't really done anything other than do an appearance with Kurt Angle in Pittsburgh, as far as wrestling, is still kicking ass in amateur wrestling. He apparently dominated the U.S. Open Championships in Las Vegas last week. Carmella, who is 35, announced she was pregnant. Roman Reigns is going to be on the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view May 27th. And Money in the Bank from London on July the 1st. I guess I'll try to do a watch-along of this Saudi Arabia pay-per-view May 27th, since I have the WWE Network but have barely used it, because the Canadian version is much more complicated than the American one. Tamara Stock, 30 years old, who was a gold medalist at the 2021 Olympics, signed with WWE. Raw will be in Quebec City August 21st, which will be the first time WWE has ever been to Quebec City for a TV taping. I did promote the one and or the only, the first, I guess, Quebec City TNA event back in 2007, where I've stated they refused to advertise that Rick Martel was going to be at the event, and he ended up doing something with Johnny Devine at the event. But yeah, good for Quebec City to get a TV taping. I'm sure that has a lot to do with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens' big push in WWE. As far as ratings this week, AEW did a 0.28 from Baltimore before 4,100 paid. NXT did a 0.14 rating. Raw from Fort Worth, where they have some very good restaurants, did 9,400. Stone Cold Takes America, and this has to be considered a disappointment, only did a 0.10. MLW did not rate. There's nothing I can see from Impact. WOW Women of Wrestling did a 0.05. Rampage did a 0.09. SmackDown from Corpus Christi, Texas did 6,800 paid. AEW is doing amazing over in the UK as far as ticket sales for their Wembley Stadium show. As of Thursday night, they had sold over 50,000 tickets, made 6.5 million, and that's only for people with the pre-sale code, which of course isn't hard to find these days. But tickets officially go on sale today. This will be the biggest non-WrestleMania first day ticket sales since the 1992 SummerSlam event at the original Wembley Stadium. And by the way, it looks like this Wembley Stadium AEW show is going to have a higher attendance than last year's WWE Clash in the Castle in Cardiff, Wales. The paid attendance for WrestleMania this year was only around 60,000 each night. So this AEW Wembley show might end up having higher sales than WrestleMania. Apparently, the largest WWE ticket sales for an event, for the record, was in 2016 at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, where they had 79,800 paid. If AEW could actually fill the whole stadium, they could potentially beat that. And I mean, if they brought in Goldberg and did a Sting or Goldberg retirement, I could see them actually doing that. We'll see how they end up booking that show. So apparently, this is the most tickets AEW has ever sold for an event. Their previous high number was 18,300 for their Arthur Ashe Stadium show in New York a few years ago. So they're doing great. Congratulations to them. By the way, WCW's record ticket sale was only 35,514 paid for the famous July 6, 98 match at the Georgia Dome featuring Hogan and Bill Goldberg. Apparently, Dark and Dark Elevation are not going to happen anymore with the new AEW Collision show coming up that's going to be taped on Saturday nights. In other wrestling news, Vice Media apparently is going to file for bankruptcy. I'm not sure how that's going to affect the Dark Side of the Ring. Tessa Blanchard is apparently signed with XPW. So that's interesting. We saw XPW do that bizarre angle where a guy got his penis head poked with like a steroid needle, which was like a new low in wrestling for me. UFC news: John Jones says that unless Francis Ngannou comes back, his fight with Stipe Miocic this summer will be his final fight, as he doesn't feel he has anything left to prove. I got to agree with John Jones on that. But Francis Ngannou reportedly wanted like $28 million to fight John Jones, which is just insane. Thoughts on Sarah Lee, cause of death revealed. I don't even know who Sarah Lee is. Who is Sarah Lee? Let me look that up. WWE Tough Enough winner died by suicide. Thanks for the news. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. We've all been there. We've all well, not all of us, but some of us have contemplated that in the past, including me. You just got to keep fighting forward. But yeah. Where's Piper? I've been moving, and I have a big event coming up tomorrow night. So I'm letting Piper stay with my ex, and I will have her back on Sunday. Mike. Someone says AEW shows are aired free, so he's not surprised at the success. Also, that's a big show for the UK. AEW coming there for the first time, so good for them. Tom, CM Punk will probably be on that show because he's supposed to be returning to AEW in June. John, they better cut talent. Yeah, WWE has a lot of talent that aren't over and are just like taking up money. They should definitely do cuts. I agree. AEW has a shitload of talent that doesn't do much too. But whatever. Someone says Honky Tonk said Rude died by suicide. Well, he died from a drug overdose by mixing a lot of medications. And the talk amongst most of his friends was that he had used some of this injectable Viagra type stuff that you can put directly into your penis, and it had some sort of infection. But I mean, Rude was only 40 when he died. Anyways. Sullivan wants to see Bloodhunter versus Brian Pillman Jr. I think Jack Kilby contacted Pillman Jr. about it. He said he wasn't interested, which doesn't surprise me, because I think the Bloodhunter would absolutely annihilate Pillman Jr. Any ref bumps coming? I think Kevin Sullivan is one of the ones that says there's too many ref bumps in WWE. Did WWE ever release the Vlad the Superfan documentary? I have no idea. That's not something that I would have any interest in watching. I don't think Hennig committed suicide. Hennig was using drugs, I guess, from what I understand. And as you get up in age, if you keep using drugs, it gets harder and harder on your heart. Let's look up Curt Hennig's cause of death. Sorry, guys. I'm going to end on this. He was only 42. He died of acute cocaine intoxication. And his father said steroids and painkillers probably also were a factor. You mix steroids, painkillers, and cocaine. That's a death recipe. That is definitely a death recipe. So a lot of the old wrestlers did all three of those, and a lot of the older wrestlers have passed. Did they make, because they were such crazy characters and on that kind of stuff, did it make it more entertaining in a lot of ways than today's wrestling personalities? Yes. But today's personalities are probably going to survive longer because they don't have a lot of those habits. Although, you know what? There's I don't believe that AEW is doing at least steroid testing. I don't. A lot of the WWE guys look like they're on it these days too. And Impact, I recently saw something of Jordan Grace where her face looks very, very manly. So I don't think your face just turns into a manly type face from not doing steroids. So I don't know why women would take steroids, to be perfectly honest, to get those male characteristics. But whatever, her choice. Have a great day, and don't forget, Great North Wrestling in Ottawa tomorrow night.
Jack Kilby here, Executive Vice President of Great North Wrestling. No Gimmicks Entertainment is pleased to present Great North Wrestling's huge 15th anniversary show on Saturday, May the 6th at the Earl Armstrong Arena in Ottawa, Ontario. Bell time 7 p.m. This stacked card will feature former TNA Impact World Heavyweight Champion Cowboy James Storm, WCW legend The Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan managing the diabolical Blood Hunter, second generation former TNA star Aces and Eights Wes Briscoe, Canadian champion Black Dynamite Jeremy Prophet, and former GNW Women's Champion Jessica Black, the Conspiracy Horsemen of Ayatollah Bin Hameen and Greek god Papadon from Vince Russo's brand, Ottawa wrestling legend Bruiser, with much more to be announced. Fans, there will be a meet and greet before the event and at intermission. Tickets, now on sale, available at ticketweb.ca and at the door. Don't you dare miss it.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you